So the function is cosine of 2x plus a sine of x, the window from 0 to 2 pi, and then take a look at the graph, and it looks like there is a maximum, a minimum, a maximum, and a minimum. Not sure, but that one looks like it was just still on its way up, so neither a maximum or a minimum. So you've got 2 maxes and 2 mins, so we're going to have to find 4 critical values. So the derivative of cosine is negative sine, and then the chain rule says take the derivative of 2x, which is a 2, and then the derivative of sine is positive cosine. So there's no place where sine or cosine are undefined, so the derivative is always defined. Now when does the derivative equal 0? Oops, put my plus in the wrong place. There we go, fixed it, times 2. Okay, so set the derivative equal to 0, and then we've got a slight problem in that this has a 2x in it, and this only has an x in it. So we need a trig identity for sine of 2x, and the trig identity for that is that it's 2 times sine of x times cosine of x. And then this 2, I might as well move it to the front. And now that we have cosine of x showing up in each thing, we can factor out cosine of x. So we'd have 0 equals cosine of x gets factored out from those two terms. Here it would leave negative 4 sine of x, and then if I factored out cosine, it leaves a 1. Now that it's factored, set each factor equal to 0. So this one would say, when does cosine equal 0? And set this one equal to 0. We can move the 1 to the other side, it would become negative, and divide by 4. So this one says, when does sine of x equal a positive 1/4? Well, this one I can do even without a calculator. Cosine graph looks like this from 0 to 2 pi. In the middle would be pi. Right here would be pi over 2. And right here, 3 pi over 2. So it looks like we've got 2 of the answers already. Now we need to find 2 more from this. So when does sine equal 1/4? So the graph of sine would look like this from 0 to 2 pi. And then it's saying, when did that equal to 1/4? So we can use the calculator to find out what was the x value that caused that. Or in other words, take sine inverse of 1/4 and make sure that we're working in radians, because the directions right there say you should be working in radians. Okay, so in radians it's going to be that x equals a 0.253. Now we need to find one more solution. So if you look at the graph and at a height of 1/4 go over to the sine graph again, right here just to the left of pi, there's going to be another place where sine is equal to 1/4. And this graph is symmetric. So this length right here, from where it hits the x-axis to the value we need, is a length of 0.253. Well, the same is true over here. So from pi, you'd have to go to the left by 0.253. So this last solution is going to be that x equals, so from pi, go to the left by 0.253. Okay. So we've got, go back to the graph and check out, well, the smallest one would be 0.253. So try that, trace 0.253, and I'm hoping that that's that point right up there on top of that hill. Good. So we've got, now to organize our work, we've got a relative maximum at 0.253 and 1.125. So I'll put both maximum values over here and then both minimum values over here. Next, there's this one. So you may remember that from cosine we got pi over 2 and 3 pi over 2. So next I'll check pi over 2. So pi divided by 2 is going to be that minimum. So at pi divided by 2, 0 is a relative minimum. And then there's this value, pi minus 0.253, I'm thinking is that one. Oh, good. So we also have when x equals 2.889, and y is equal to 1.125. That's also max. And then finally, this one down here, which should be that 3 pi divided by 2. Yes, I don't know if you can see, but it's down there blinking at the minimum. So at 3 pi divided by 2 and negative 2, there are the minimums and maximums.